Hey, 5th and 6th grade leaders, this Sunday we're continuing the big idea of gratitude. Gratitude is letting others know you see how they've helped you. We are going to be diving into Matthew chapter 20, verses 1 through 5, where we see the parable that Jesus tells about the vineyard workers. I love this story as the vineyard workers are very happy with their job until they start comparing themselves with others and become ungrateful. Our bottom line this week is adjust your attitude. We'll be asking the key question to our 5th and 6th graders: what do you do when you don't feel grateful? This is really a timely story in the fact that this is an opportunity for kids to learn that life is not always fair, and we're going to have situations in our life that don't make sense, bad situations, circumstances beyond our control. But the one biblical truth that I want these kids to walk away with is that they can trust God no matter what. He is our hope, His Word is our truth and our foundation that we can rely on. This is especially timely in the face of what happened last Sunday with the shooting, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in your closing prayer activities. All right, so as your kiddos arrive, you're going to have some just icebreaker questions to get them open and talking. Especially this is important for kiddos that are new that come into the room. We want them to just feel like the room is comfortable and that there's conversation going on and they don't feel so awkward. Then what we're going to do is you guys are going to have your lesson in your room, and I'm going to allow some, I've planned for you guys to have a little bit more discussion time, because I do know that the leaders that worked with 5th and 6th grade last week said that the Las Vegas shooting came up in discussion. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be some questions regarding this latest incident that just happened this last week. I also heard from some parents that as they walked out to the car and turned on Christian radio, that this was the topic of discussion. So some kids are very aware of this. However, we do need to be sensitive to the fact that there are some families that do not allow their kids to hear about news and have no idea what happened or very few details. I have enclosed this week, I'm going to post it's guidelines for talking about tragedy. I'm also going to have it as a handout with your group. We need to be sensitive to the fact that parents are the primary leaders in their household, they're spiritual leaders, and that we need to be sensitive to the fact that not all the details have been released. If you have kids that are really wanting to dive deeper and really get into a hot discussion about this and have something on their heart, please redirect them and really just plan on staying with them after class and talk to them a little bit more further, or even direct them to me if you don't feel comfortable having that discussion, that I can talk to them after class. Just so that we are sensitive to the ones and what their parents are allowing them to be a part of at home. All right, then after that, we have verses to take with you. This is where you're going to dive into Ephesians chapter 5, verse 20. There is a verse to read together, and they're going to dissect this verse and just talk about there's not really a wrong or right answer, but what we want the kids to realize is that they have an opportunity, no matter what their circumstances are, how they respond to that. And we can be grateful in every circumstances, even when it doesn't seem like it's clear and we have no clue as to why things happen the way that they do. We need to trust God and trust Him in His Word. Also, when you end in prayer time, this is what I was referring to earlier, the first question I want you to ask them is to think of some examples of where life is not fair. This is where the conversations regarding the shooting that happened may come up. What I want you to do is I put some notes on there to redirect them to the fact that we are going to have circumstances in this life because of sin that we don't understand. Life is not going to be fair, but there is hope in Jesus, and we do need to rely on His Word and not trust our feelings, which can lead us to feel down and out and ungrateful, and focus on the bad situations instead of the good. All right. Also, on another note regarding this shooting, we have safety procedures here in place at our church in case there is a fire or an active shooter on campus, but we want to ensure that every single leader also knows what those procedures are. Pastor Jackie has asked us to call a meeting with every single leader, children's ministry, preschool ministry, at 8:30 in the morning. So regardless of when you serve, we need you to be here at 8:30. We're going to be sending out a note regarding this, just so we can review exactly what our procedures are and what steps would be taken if that indeed ever happened, God forbid, on our campus. All right, then we'll have our huddle up time immediately following. So we will see you at 8:30 for first service, 10:10 for second service for huddle up time. I hope you're having a great week. Please continue to keep the Texas community in your prayers. As you know, I'm from Texas, and this little community is right outside of San Antonio. And not that the size matters, but the fact that most of the community is 100 people. They leave their doors unlocked and keys in the car, and most of them are related in some form. And the congregation, half of their congregation is gone. So please remember them in your prayers and keep them in your hearts. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday during our meeting. Please don't forget that there are donuts for you. Get here a little bit early so you can grab some caffeine and coffee and enjoy. See you Sunday.